welcome to my channel. My name is Lolo Alexis, and if you are new here, I speak on everything related to fragrance, fashion, fitness, and faith as it pertains to being a glamorous, beautiful woman in today's world. And so please click subscribe if you like the content that I share today, and make sure to continuously tune in. So let's get started. All right, so the debate. What is the better dupe between Lactea Divina, Her Confessions, and Blanche Bete? I'll be honest with you, I initially started with Her Confessions as my first purchase, and I loved it. It was musky, it was sweet, it was lactic, it was nice, right? But then I kept reading reviews that it didn't smell exactly like the OG and that you still needed the OG. So I was like, oh, okay. And then Paris Corner launched Lactea Divina, and I absolutely adored it. I thought it was milky. It almost reminded me of rice pudding with just essence of just cinnamon, and it just smelled so delectable and so lactonic and so sweet, but yet that tuberose came through and everyone was saying, oh, it smells completely almost identical to Blanche Bete, but Blanche Bete is still better. So at this point in time, I didn't have Blanche Bete. So now I felt like I needed to go ahead and set the record straight and see which one is actually the closer dupe to Blanche Bete. Now, let me start by saying I'm obsessed. Now that I have the official fragrance, Blanche Bete, I understand perfectly what all the fraggy girls were saying about Blanche Bete being just beast mode, being incredibly delicious, being everything of everything in terms of a lactonic, creamy, musky coconut, delicious scent that you need in your collection. So just to go over it, the top notes are milk, amberette, and mystical. I'm not really sure what mystical really stands for, but it just gives magic, in my opinion, to the opening, all right? Middle notes are tuberose, jasmine, mahonial, and incense. We love a good spice, girls. And base notes are vanilla, musk, tonka bean, and cacao. What's crazy to me is that there is no technical coconut in this fragrance, but every time I smell Blanche Bete, I get a coconut, musky, creamy concoction that just literally envelops my nose into just beautiful scent profiles that just, the story this fragrance tells, it's literally in my top 10. I'm so glad I got the real thing. Now, of course, I feel that everyone deserves to smell delicious at whatever price point they can afford. So obviously, at this point, I'm going to see which dupe is the best. I'm not one of those girlies that like to collect a lot of dupes because I want a fragrance library that really speaks to variety, speaks to my personality, speaks to the boldness of who I am in terms of my scent and what I gravitate towards. However, there are some scents that I've purchased in the past that would not be worth the price point to buy again at their full ask, that I like, but I don't like enough to pay the $50, if you know what I'm saying. So I will research dupes for those particular frags that I feel like you can get away with the dupe. And then let's just be honest, some dupes are better than their counterpart. Some dupes are better than Inspo, their Muse fragrance, right? However, in this case, that is not the case with Blanche Bete. I will always pay the $50 for her. And if you find a site that has a great sale, then you don't necessarily have to pay the $275 that this retails at. However, I definitely will never tell someone not to get the real thing because she's just really too good. So now let's get to business. Which Arabian dupe is closer to getting the exact scent profile of Blanche Bete? All right, I'm going to go and start with Her Confessions and my initial thoughts now that I have both her and Lactea Divina. So let's go into Her Confessions. It launched last year. It was such a huge just uproar on TikTok and all of social media of being just this amazing, beautiful tuberose, lactonic, gorgeous scent. So the top notes in Her Confessions are mystical, cinnamon, The base notes, let me go back. The heart notes, are tuberose, mahonial, jasmine, and incense, so identical to Blanche Bete. And then the base note is vanilla, tonka, and musk. So there are some variety of notes, which obviously Lattafa still made a cute little substitution to give her confessions her own scent profile. But obviously, reading through the notes, majority of the notes are very similar to Blanche Bete. So let me say this. This one dries down very musky. It's not as sweet as Blanche Bete, nor is it as lactonic. I definitely find this to be more spicy than Blanche Bete is. Blanche Bete does not give me spice. Blanche Bete gives me creamy dessert gourmand concoction that you just want to bathe in, right? It's just like this milky steamed, I don't know. It's just sweet and delectable. While Her Confessions is a beautiful scent, because I do like it, I definitely feel like the tuberose is the star of this one. And I love that they added some vanilla, but the musk is a bit harsh on the dry down to me. Still love it, because I love a good musk, but it's a bit more harsh than Blanche Bete, which takes it away from that lactonic creaminess that we have grown to love from Blanche Bete. So it's similar in scent, but I definitely don't think that it is the dupe that you're going to look for to really give you the Blanche Bete DNA. I think that it's close though, obviously, because most of the notes are the same. I also feel that the cinnamon touch adds a little bit more spice to the opening than has. Blanche Bete really comes on real smooth. I don't get a bunch of spice in its opening. It's just very blended. The notes are just blended so beautifully. But with Her Confessions, it comes on a bit more in your face and then dries down a bit more in your face as well. But absolutely a beautiful scent. If you're someone that doesn't want it as sweet, if you smell Blanche Bete and you feel like it's a little bit too sweet for you, and you want something that has more of a rose forward profile with some musk, then Her Confessions is the way to go. Now, let's get into Lactea Divina. Lactea Divina is from Paris Corner, and you know, a designer fragrance or a niche fragrance hates to see Paris Corner come in because I call them the dupe capital of perfumery. There isn't a house, in my opinion, that dupes quite as well as Paris Corner. Don't get me wrong, I've found some, but Paris Corner just gets it. Just maybe they're produced in the same factory. I don't know. So let's go through the notes of Lactea Divina. So Lactea Divina opens with cocoa and incense. The heart notes are jasmine and tuberose, and the base notes of vanilla, tonka bean, and milk. So with that being said, this is excessively lactonic though. I find Lactea Divina to be closer to the DNA of Blanche Bete. Even though there's some missing notes in the concoction in this DNA, I find it to be much more along the lines of what Blanche Bete smells like in its true identity. However, I do find Lactea Divina to be a bit creamier and a bit sweeter. So if you're looking for a frag that gives the same DNA as Blanche Bete but is sweeter and a little bit more lactonic, then Lactea Divina is it. I absolutely adore Lactea Divina. I can smell the difference, obviously, between Blanche Bete and Lactea Divina because of the simple fact that Blanche Bete is not as sweet. It still gives me some coconut scent profile, though that is not a note within the fragrance at all. And it has more of a musk to it, but it's not as musky as Her Confessions. This has no musk in it. This is literally a lactonic balm. It's sweet. It's warm. It's comforting. The tuberose is gorgeous, but she's not the star of the show. I really feel like the stars of the show in Lactea Divina are the vanilla, the tonka bean, and I get more jasmine than I get the tuberose in this particular fragrance. However, it smells more similar to Blanche Bete than Her Confessions because Her Confessions has that cinnamon and it adds a lot more musk than Blanche Bete has, where Lactea Divina does not have the musk, but it has the other nuances that Blanche Bete is known to have, that creamy, lactonic, sweet punch that just blends so very well. Obviously, with the base of milk, this one gives more lactonic. If you're one that doesn't like the thought of a milky fragrance, because some people think it tends to be a little bit more sour on the dry down, I can guarantee, at least on my skin, this did not finish sour at all. This is just really sweet. It's really comforting. It's really warm. I find it to be a very nice gourmand, a beautiful release from Paris Corner in their Tasking collection. Much better than the caramel one that they brought us. I can't even remember the name of it, but I was not a fan of it at all. So I think that this was a beautiful bounce back to release something that was just very on trend, on brand in terms of people leaning towards the gourmand families heavily in 2024. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Paris Corner has next. But if you want my vote between which two are closer to the Blanche Bete DNA, definitely go for Lactea Divina. So until next time, let me know what you think. If you have another suggestion for a great dupe for Blanche Bete, please leave a comment and I'll check it out. I don't mind, because I'm so in love with the DNA that I'll check out another dupe as well. All right, well, until next time, and I hope you guys have a great week smelling amazing. Ta-ta.